Hey, 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 happy Friday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Tonight, I am going to page through and take a first look at the adventure supplement, The Laughter of Dragons, which is for the One Ring role-playing game, the Lord of the Rings or Tolkien role-playing game from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Wow, look, Kabuki Kid jumps in right away to say hello. Hi, Kabuki Kid. Congrats on winning that PDF yesterday, by the way. Well done, bravo. You know how to, sit back and watch me roll a die. Anyway, today, or I should say tonight, is episode 251 of The Daily Dope. As you can see, Kabuki Kid's chiming in. Chat is available because this is a live stream. I know a vast majority of people tend to watch this show long after the fact, but if you are watching live, I do pay attention to chat because it is available. It is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention. So if you want to say howdy, like Kabuki Kid just did, or if you have a question, or maybe as we're taking a look at The Laughter of Dragons, if there's something you want me to take a little closer look at and focus on for a moment, chime in. I will respond. So, do want to say if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you watch some of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel, please by all means subscribe. Ring that little bell, because that little bell is not only going to tell you when a new video pops up, but it will also let you know when I am streaming live. Pretty sweet, pretty cool. So, no news tonight. Today has been super, super hectic, pretty crazy. I went and did my my cardiovascular rehab like I normally do, and then tonight I ran out. It was kind of funny. I ran out. I was gonna get a pizza at Little Caesars, right? Just because I figured, okay, grab it, go, bring it home. And it seems like the Little Caesars that's in Yorkville, Illinois, has now decided that they no longer do a hot and ready thing. Is that the only Little Caesars in America that's not doing hot and ready? Because, I mean, hot and ready's all over their boxes. It's all over their signage. And I have actually, when I traveled all around the country not that long ago, it's only been a couple of years, and I'd pop into a Little Caesars, they always had stuff right away. This Little Caesars is horrible. Terrible. So didn't have anything ready, and then it was like, no, I didn't want to wait 25 minutes for a Little Caesars pizza. So thankfully there's a grocery store right there. I went and got a DiGiorno and had to make it. And I actually, no joke, just finished eating some of the pizza about 60 seconds before I started the stream. Yeah, so thankfully, fingers crossed, I think everything is set up tonight. Never had Little Caesars and inundated with those ads about hot and ready. For a $5 pizza, it's okay. I personally think it's better pizza than, say, Papa John's. But then again, I'm from Chicago, so Chicago is famous for some really awesome pizza, and there are some great pizza places, even out my way. But I don't like to pay $25 for a pizza for two people. It's kind of silly. So, anywho, yes, hot and ready, but I joke around that it's sort of like hot and ready when we get around to making it should be the tagline for the Little Caesars over by me. Yeah. So, anyway, so I'm not doing any news today. It's Friday night. Kind of want to get my Friday rolling along a little earlier than usual. Kind of kick back, relax. I went, my blood pressure was elevated again at the my rehab today. Not horribly, but still, it's kind of weird, kind of odd. So, anywho, no news. We're going to devote most of the show to taking a look at The Laughter of Dragons. But before I do that, I do want to mention if you like old school role-playing games, and I'm an old school role player, because when I started playing role-playing games, it was new school. Old school was new school back then. It was new everything back then. But good old Drive-Thru RPG does have a more awesome OSR sale going on. There's 2 sales that are currently going on over at Drive-Thru RPG. One is for Shadowrun, up to 60% off Shadowrun. So if you are a fan of Shadowrun and you're looking to fill some items that you might be missing out in your collection, or you'd like to jump into Shadowrun, which has always been a cool setting, system-wise, mechanically, I've never been a huge fan, but if you'd like to jump into that, by all means. But, more important to me, I guess I would say, the more awesome OSR sales going on, Advanced Labyrinth Lord, which is one of the best retro clones out there, is one of the main focuses of this sale. You can actually pick up, no joke, you can pick up the core book, which I think, off the top of my head, I think it's 270 pages. You can get it for $3.99. That's right. You can get it for less than $4 right now. So that is pretty sweet. And of course, if you are going to go to Drive-Thru RPG or any of the other One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, we get a little piece of that pie. And all those little pieces really do add up. So, Kabuki Kid says they are in New Jersey. Yes, you do have good pizza places there. And as a Chicagoan, I am one of these people who does not hate New York. I do not hate LA. I gotta be honest. Detroit I never thought was much when I've gone to Detroit, but just about every major city in the US that I've been to, and I've been to a lot, I liked. I like New York. I like New Jersey. I've been over in Newark quite a few times. Flew out of Newark a bunch of times. So, yeah, I like the East Coast. When I started playing RPGs, it was 1981. Yes, actually, Kabuki Kid, you're right. It was still a pretty new hobby back in 81. We were still looking at Advanced D&D, first edition. We still had the basic. We had the... By 81, was that the Cook? Did the Cook edition come out in 81 or is it 82? I forget. We didn't really play basic. We didn't play basic or expert or you know, things like that. We played AD&D a bit. But funny enough, as soon as Call of Cthulhu came out, that became my role-playing game, and that is pretty much what I stuck to. So, gonna jump into our first look at the Laughter of Dragons. Just a couple of moments. What's coming up on the show next week? So, I got a bunch of goodies today. I've got some more. Moldvay Basic came out in 81. Cook Expert came out. Was it the same time? There you have it. There you go. Kabuki Kid says it was 81. So I would take a guess, reading between the lines in chat here, Kabuki Kid probably started role-playing with D&D. Just taking a guess, D&D. Hey, you know what? Old System's pretty cool. I actually saw a PDF and I was taking a peek at it. What is it? Mazes and Minotaurs? So, and it was actually, Mazes and Minotaurs almost predates original Dungeons and Dragons. So, I mean, we're talking really close together as far as releases. Pretty interesting. Good guess. Moldvay Basic was what Kabuki Kid started with. Sweet. Yeah, it's my psychic abilities. No, we're talking about 81, and of course, talking about Basic and Expert coming out in 81. I didn't really have to stretch that far to figure it out. All right, anywho, Monday's show. I'm going to show you what's coming up and what showed up today. And I've got some Stronghold game stuff arriving tomorrow. But on Monday's show, I am going to review Millennium Blades. This is the core game. And, gosh, off the top of my head, Level 99 Games. I was like, who makes this again? Because it's not on the back of the box. Because sometimes I'm like, if I blank out, I go, oh yeah, it's on the box. Anyway, this is from Level 99 Games. This is a hefty game, and it's a card game about collectible card games and the people who play them. So we are going to get a bunch of us together and play this over the weekend. So that's on Monday's show. One of the reasons why I want to get that review done ASAP is there is a Kickstarter out there right now for the final expansion for Millennium Blades, according to Level 99 Games. And you can pick up the core game with the expansion, and the core game is like $15 less. So I will tell you if it's worth picking up. Then on Tuesday's show, I'm going to review Helios Expanse from my friends over at Greenbrier Games. Do want to point out this is not a retail edition. To be honest, I don't think this is still out yet. I think it's still coming out. I want to say I think this is coming out in, is it May? I don't know. I have to talk to Julie Ahern. I have not spoken to Julie actually since she moved back to the East. Well, she's not on the East Coast. Well, yeah, I guess she is kind of the East Coast. So, hey, Ghost World's popping in. Ghost, you're late. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Ghost always pops in about this time. Kabuki Kid says, yep. Older versions, Holmes Basic from 77, the OD&D white box. I had the white box. Yep, I had the white box back in the day. And then it was funny. We used to, as silly as this sounds, but then again, what do you want? I was, 7th, 8th grade, and then, like freshman in high school. We would play AD&D, and we would kind of look down our nose at like basic and expert. We'd be like, ooh, poo-poo, oh, So, I know, kind of silly now to think about that. All right, so Helios Expanse review on Tuesday. Wednesday, Wargame Wednesday, sponsored by my good friend Mark H. Walker's companies, Flying Pig Games and Tiny Battle Publishing. But I'm not actually reviewing anything on Wednesday. We're going to take a first look at SPQR from GMT Games. I might do a double dip again next Wednesday. I might do a first look at one of the slew of Tiny Battle Publishing games that popped out. I have yet had a chance to play enough of Platoon Commander Deluxe, The Battle of Kursk, to do a review yet. So maybe that'll be a week from Wednesday. But I will be taking a peek at this, and I have to say, the counters look pretty cool, and this has been out of print for a while. So I am looking forward to checking this out. Then, next Thursday, once again, I love looking at RPGs, doing reviews of RPGs on Thursdays. This just arrived in the mail from it is Artelsorian. I believe that is a correct pronunciation. We're going to look at the Witcher role-playing game from Artelsorian Games and CD Projekt Red, who makes the PC game. Although I think it's been ported over to the consoles and stuff. So we are going to be taking a look at the Witcher RPG. That'll be on Thursday's show, and then on Friday's show we're gonna go back-to-back RPGs again next week. So we are going to take a look at the Adventures in Middle-earth Breeland region guide for the world's most popular role-playing game. That's what they always have to say, right? Because it's 5e, because it's with D&D. I can say D&D. I don't have to worry about the open game license. But yes, we will take a look at that on Friday's show. Yeah, big name, The Witcher. So, the fine folks, hey, Louis Mudd says popping in. Now, I have to ask, is this Big Louis or Little Louis? I'm taking a guess it's probably Little Louis jumping in to pop in today. So, I haven't seen Louis in a long time. Yes, I do recall good old Merp from Iron Crown, which was kind of based on their Arms Law, Claw Law, which was, I don't know. I mean, I remember we got the Arms Law, Claw Law, Spell Law, for all those different laws that Iron Crown came out with. before they actually combined it into their role-playing game system. And we thought, oh, wow, these critical hits and everything, they're super. Yeah, I had an idea it was Little Louie. Good to see you, Little Louie. I'll just say Louie, because, you know, it's his dad is Big Louie. So a flashback to our blast from the past from Mesa, Arizona. So anyway, the fine folks at Our Telesaurian Games reached out to me and they asked, hey, would you be interested in covering any of our releases? And I said, sure, you know, whatever you want to send along, I'm all good for. I have the new reviewer who's tackling a lot of the PDF role-playing games, Sammy Yumas. And so they sent me some PDFs. And then just today, I got The Witcher. I got Castle Falkenstein, which I have always heard really good things about Castle Falkenstein. Heard it's a pretty cool, kind of steampunkish role-playing game. There is a Comme il Faut, I think it's Faux? I don't know. Comme il Faut. It is a companion guide to Castle Falkenstein. I think this is kind of new. Teenagers from Outer Space. Yes. If you are into anime comedies, I mean, who isn't, right? I like serious anime. But if you are into comedy anime, then you might get a kick out of that. We also have Cyberpunk 2020. Yes, it is still called Cyberpunk 2020. I am kind of surprised. And I want to say this before The Witcher. I want to say this is the role-playing game that Our Telesaurian has been known for a long time. I'm a little surprised, like I said, that they have not changed it from 2020, seeing that this is 2019. Remember the old Toon RPG? Yes, I remember the old Toon RPG. Steve Jackson Games, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure. And then Cyber Generation. So I have not really taken a peek at this, so I think that this is actually a supplement for Cyberpunk 2020 because the back of Cyberpunk shows it's a second edition. Where was that? Where did I just see it? Oh, there we go. The second edition right under the 2020. Although now there's periods, so it's 2.0.2.0. So maybe that's why it's they didn't change the name. They just changed it from being a date to being a number. And then here, it also shows that this is second edition. So I am not sure, but I am looking forward to this. We are going to do some page throughs. We might double dip on some of them, some of the ones that have been out for a while. So I might take a look at Castle Falkenstein as well as that companion book on the same show. So pretty sweet. Anywho, Ghost, if you're, I assume Ghost is still watching. Do me a favor, Ghost. I want you to, if you could, email me to the email address that's down in the corner. Yes, don't do mailbag at thegaminggang.com. That's just sort of when people are kind of, I have that like on the website. So it's like if somebody's, going to harass me about trying to promote their Kickstarter, they can contact that email address. Because I get enough of that stuff to my personal email address already. But so Ghost can tell you what's coming right now. Yes, that's right. It's time for Lil Whizbub. That's right, Lil Whizbub. Because, as I've pointed out on multiple occasions, starting last month, the Gaming Gang as well as the Daily Dope are no longer for profit. Thank goodness, because it wasn't like I got rich anyway. But if you like the Gaming Gang, or if you happen to like the Daily Dope, or you like both of them, please consider donating to Lil Bub's Big Fund at the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Yes, that's right. This is a grant. Monies are granted out to organizations who care for special needs pets. So we're talking pets that are older, and trust me, I can identify with that. pets who might be deaf or blind, have mobility issues. Maybe they have some sort of like feline leukemia or something like that, or feline HIV, which a lot of people don't realize that feline HIV is not like a death sentence to a cat, an indoor cat, right? That you're taking care of. You just have to use medications, just like, you know, anybody else, any human being who's got HIV. So anyway, 100% of all monies that are raised for Lil Bub's Big Fund are granted out to these various different organizations. So if you make a donation, even if it's a couple of dollars, $5, what have you, I'm not sitting here, you know, going, oh, you know, please donate like $50. No, not at all. But if you do, please shoot me an email. Yes, to that same email address. It's down in the corner. And I will definitely give you a shout out on the next show. All right. So, yes, best part of the day, support the local charities. Let's see. What have I missed? They haven't bumped it up to 2049 yet. No Ghost. They have not bumped Cyberpunk up to the Blade Runner year yet. Which, you know what? I don't understand why that movie didn't do well. Because I thought that movie was phenomenal. I thought that was awesome. And Harrison Ford wasn't necessarily just phoning in his performance either. So I really dug the Blade Runner 2049. Was it 2049 or 47? I think it was 49. I think Ghost was saying 2049 there. All right, so we are going to take a peek at, yes, get ready for it, the Laughter of Dragons for the One Ring role-playing game from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I am going to mispronounce a bunch of these designers, so get ready. Oh, for crying out loud. I knew I would miss something here. There you go. There we go. There's the one thing I messed up, one technical issue today. That's what happens when you finish eating your dinner like a minute before the stream goes live and you're actually eating down here in the Duct Tape Studios. Isn't that lovely? Anywho, let's jump into the mispronunciation of the designers. We've got John Arcadian, that's easy, Paul Butler, Gareth Hanrahan, John Hodgson, Andrew Kenrick, T.S. Lucart. T.S. is the guy that I was talking about who I always see at Gen Con and always say howdy to him. And I was like, it's T.S. or is it T.C.? No, it's T.S. Paul Mishner, Francesco Neptello, James Semple, John Semple, and Jacob Rogers, as well as Graham Spearing. Wow, I think I pronounced just about all of them correct. Artwork is provided by John Hodgson, Sam Manley, Jan Pospisil, that one I probably got wrong, and Scott Purdy. The 160-page adventure supplement will be available in hardcover for $39.99. It is currently available in PDF from Drive-Thru RPG for $22.99, as I already pointed out about going to Drive-Thru RPG and helping the gaming gang out. Okay, so let's jump on over to the other camera here. Boom. Let's see what's cooking in. Yeah, there we go. Blade Runner 2049, best sequel I've seen in ages, says Kabuki Kid. I got to agree. I have to say that was after, you know, so long between movies. Yeah, I have to agree. That was excellent. All right, so anywho. So I've got the hardcover right here for The Laughter of Dragons. And well, a little smudge there from when I was handling this after eating pizza. Oops. Anywho, so I've got the hardcover book. It's not out. It is not out yet, as far as I understand. I'm a little up in the air on this. So it was supposed to be released back in December, which it was not, because even if you go to the online retailers, they're all pointing out that this is still as a pre-order. I had heard a rumor that it may not be out in retail until possibly May, and then I also heard it could be March. So I am not positive. What I can tell you for certain is I have a copy, and most other people do not. So that's the best I can tell you. Okay, so let me grab a sip here. Okay, so this is for the One Ring, and of course, come on. Ugh, I'll have to wipe this down later on. This is for the One Ring role-playing game, so if you happen to live under a rock, the One Ring is effectively Cubicle 7's Tolkien role-playing game with their own mechanics, their own system. Because they do such wonderful work with their Tolkien The One Ring releases, they made an agreement with Wizards of the Coast to produce Adventures in Middle-earth. So what they do is they port over all the great One Ring stuff that they do over to 5e. So that is, because I've had a couple of people ask me, well, what's the difference between the One Ring and Adventures in Middle-earth? Whereas the One Ring, if you pick up the One Ring core book, then you're looking at, I mean, that's the entire game system right there. It's all your rules and things like that. If I remember correctly, with Adventures in Middle-earth, when you pick up the Lore Master's Guide, and I want to say, I think it's the Adventurer's Guide is the other one. It's kind of talking about how you're adapting Dungeons and Dragons to Tolkien. So, but the One Ring has more of a storytelling focus, and obviously enough, most people 5e has a little more combat focus to it. Okay, so let's take a look at the back here. The laughter of a dragon is a devastating sound, able to shake the spirit of the toughest warrior or the hardiest of adventurers. With the death of Smaug, or Smaug, I always said Smog. Smaug. Anyway, hey, with the death of that dragon, you know, over by Lake Town, Wilderland has been spared this terror, and the plans of the Dark Lord to bring dragon fire and savage swords upon the free folks of the North have been foiled. But the enemy knows that in times of peace, there's a subtler way to reach the heart of dwarves and men: treachery. Visit the kingdom of Bard the Dragon Slayer, see the wondrous toy market of Dale, and the reconstructed Lake Town, and gain access to the halls of the King under the mountain as you side with Balin, son of Fundin, in his search to foil conspiracy threatening to bring war to the north. The Laughter of Dragons contains 6 ready-to-play adventures you can play separately or as connected parts of a conspiracy that will unfold over the course of several years of game time, not of actual play. The adventures take place in the areas described in the Erebor supplement, a useful companion to this volume. Okay, so let's pop this on open. As I mentioned, we are looking at 160 pages here. Paper quality, pretty nice. Pretty nice paper quality here. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it as well. So we've got our contents here. So we've got the introduction. Now, I do want to point out, because this is an adventure supplement, do want to mention that if you are a player and you're hoping that your lore master is going to run this, you probably want to turn this off. See you Monday. But because I'm you know, obviously this is the first time I've looked at inside this book, but we may see a little spoilerish stuff here. So we got the introduction. So it's telling us we've got the 6 adventures. We've got the Silver Needle of Hammers and Anvils, to Dungeons Deep, Sleeping Dragon's Lie, Dark Waters, Shadows in the North. Talks about how to use this guide. Talking about who the big bad is. I'm not going to say that out loud. So we're going to see some of the major players in the adventures as well. And then we just kind of jump right on in. It looks like this is the first adventure right here. The Silver Needle. So when does it take place? This adventure is set at the end of the summer in the year 2049. I'm kidding, it's 2957. Tells us where it's at. It's going to start off in the city of Dale. So we got a when, where, what, why, and who. So we get that right up front, which to me, as a game master, I like to have this information like right there, right in front of me. So Ghost says, gotta love the quality of most C7 books. Seriously, the 4 ebook is just gorgeous. I'm sure the Middle-earth stuff is no different. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Their Doctor Who books are really good. Okay, so, all right, here we go. Jeff's going off topic again. But if you are a fan of Doctor Who, the Doctor supplements that Cubicle 7 has put together, there's only, well, we're just waiting for one, the Peter Capaldi Doctor book, but, and I've actually got one of them. I've got the Tom Baker book over here, but I've seen the rest in PDF. Fantastic. And the coolest thing about it is you could pick up those Doctor supplement books and not have any interest in playing the Doctor Who role-playing game. They're that good. They go into all this information about every single episode. I especially liked the source book for Patrick Troughton. I'm just trying to remember the name of the second Doctor. The Patrick Troughton book is excellent because so many Patrick Troughton series. Because, of course, you know, in America, we'd see Doctor Who, and Doctor Who would be on PBS station, and it would maybe be in 2 parts. So we would usually get like an hour. Once in Chicago, it was on Channel 11 Sunday nights, like 11 o'clock. And we would get an hour, and then, of course, next week we'd get the second part. Whereas in the UK, they would get like these 25-minute episodes. So a lot of these adventures, like 5-parters, 7-parters, things like that, no longer exist because the BBC erased the tapes because they were too cheap. They were going to reuse the tapes. They figured nobody's going to want this. So the cool thing about the Patrick Troughton book is that all these stories, all these adventures that you can't see, granted, you could probably read the novelizations from the Target books way back in the day. They go through them all, and the one really cool thing too is if you're a Doctor Who fan and you like the game, is if you have like a particular favorite episode, there's like adventure seeds on how to like build off that episode or like, you know, carry on that adventure. So pretty cool. Kabuki Kid said, I tried Doctor Who when I was a kid, never really got into it. Tom Baker was my doctor. That was my doctor. I gotta be honest, after Tom Baker left, I really didn't. I watched a little bit of Peter Davidson. He was okay. I found his companions to be kind of whiny. So, and then I kind of, you know, I would actually watch the old stuff because I have to admit, I actually have every episode of Doctor Who that still exists digitally. Now, I'm not saying that the quality of them is very good, but I do have them digitally. Anywho, all right, so we're taking a look at this first adventure here, the Silver Needle. Pretty cool artwork. Bit of a different kind of look here. Yeah, the artwork here, and I'm sure Ghost will kind of back me up on this. In fact, let me hold this up. Let's see if we can get, see if this will zoom. Yeah, there we go. It's looking good. This almost looks a little bit like the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition artwork, just not in color. I think this is John Hodgson's work. I think. I'm not positive. John is no longer with Cubicle 7. John moved on to start his own company, of which I cannot for the life of me remember the name of, because they haven't released anything yet. But John was always super nice. I would always talk to John at Gen Con. Dominic McDowell is one of the people I consider to be a pal of mine in the gaming industry. And always great to talk to. In fact, the funny thing is, I interview him every time I run across him, be it at... I actually interviewed him once at Origins Game Fair, but I always interview him at Gen Con. Hey, we just saw this picture. And we do long interviews together, but the funny thing is, we'll actually have a long conversation that's not on camera too. So always great to talk to Dominic. Very, very interesting person. So we got the next adventure of Hammers and Anvils. This also takes place in Dale. Doctor Who's an Acquired Taste. Old Doctor Who is definitely an acquired taste. New Doctor Who, once Peter Eccleston, when they rebooted Doctor, well, they didn't really reboot it, they just brought it back. Not so tough to get into, but yeah, the old Doctor Who's, especially with the really bad special effects, and of course, being Americans, we're not used to seeing television shows where when they're inside, it's on a set, and then they go outside. It's like inside it's shot on video, outside it's shot on film. Like the totally different look to it kind of throws you. And then a big thing that they used to get into, how long was the first adventure? How many pages? First adventure looked like maybe 20. When did we get into the new one? 24 there. So it starts on page 7 and runs to page 24. So 17 pages. About 20. Yeah, about 17. All right. So what they used to do is, like, if somebody was like possessed or like they want to have crazy eyes and that, they would actually paint makeup on the actor or actress's eyelids, so their eyelids would be closed. So a lot of times they would do like they would paint it as a certain color, and then they would be doing like kind of like blue screen, just really super cheesy. But the stories were good, and I'm of the age where I was 77. I would have been 9 years old when Star Wars came out. So of course, once Star Wars came out, and we were already comic book readers, my brother and I, by then. In fact, I think we were comic book readers from about when I was about 6. But, Star Wars comes out and you're like, all right, feed me all this science fiction. Give me all, I need science fiction. Although I seem to recall reading a little bit of science fiction before Star Wars came out. All right, so this must be the one that focuses on the toy shop, because here's the toy workshop. And I'm taking a guess, maybe that's a toy maker. All right, so as I had mentioned before, the One Ring is more focused towards storytelling as opposed to really crunchy combat or anything like that. So as we can see here, we're kind of seeing that looks like these adventures are kind of set up by set pieces. Saw Star Wars, had no idea what it was about. Went into it cold. I went into Star Wars, my brother and I talked my mom into taking us to see it the week it came out, because we had read the first issue of the Marvel comic. And of course, it was absolutely nothing like the comic. And in fact, I remember, because we had an allowance, and I went to the corner store. We used to call it the corner store, which was actually a couple of blocks away on the corner. And we would go up and we'd have our, whatever, dollar allowance or whatever we'd have a week. And we'd go up, we'd walk up and we'd buy our comics. And I got really mad because I had accidentally picked up 2 first issues of Star Wars. I picked up Star Wars issue 1 the one week, and then when I went back up there the next week with my allowance, I accidentally bought it again. And I was so mad, but I wasn't really mad when I sold my Star Wars comics years and years later. I was very happy. All right, so taking a look at this is the 3rd adventure, it looks like, to Dungeons Deep. When did we get into that? Oh, here we go. I gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised that there isn't as big a marker indicating where an adventure ends and begins. It's just kind of like this. You know, I mean, it's fine. It's just I just have to kind of pay attention while I'm flipping through. So this takes place in the Gray Mountain Narrows. Okay. As you can see, you've got quite a bit of gaming content. So I'm not seeing a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, a whole, you know, splash page of art or full page art. Watch, now I'm going to flip this page. It's going to be full page art. Look at this. So Go, I'm not even looking, and Go says it'd be nice with a full splash page of artwork separating each adventure. Yeah, or at least like a full page piece of art that kind of gives you a vibe of that adventure you're going to be taking a peek at. But I'm the first to admit I would rather have gaming content in a book over the art. Although I like to have art. I don't want to be looking, just staring at an SRD. Okay, so Sleeping Dragons Lie. So obviously, we can tell with it being called The Laughter of Dragons, we ought to have a dragon or two in this. Okay. Encountering Scarf. Which is, I'm assuming it's probably like a villain or something, but I don't know. Scarf? With a K? Hey, don't be messing with me. My name is Bonnet. Okay, so, still in Sleeping Dragon's Lie. Looks like we've got maybe some orcs. And a watchtower. That almost looks like a hobbit. By Stealth and Guile. Oh, there we go. So we get a little map of the watchtower. But as I was talking about how the One Ring is not super combat heavy. I mean, obviously there's rules for combat, but for an example, like right here, we got the watchtower, the layout of the watchtower. I guarantee, well, maybe I shouldn't guarantee. I would guess that when they port the Laughter of Dragons over to Adventures in Middle-earth, they're going to redo these maps with little grids and things like that. So you got your 10-foot by 10-foot grid on the maps. So, not quite liking the black and white portraits of the faces. Nah, it's all right. If I remember correctly now, it's been a long time since I took a look at the core rules. I do have them in PDF. I could have swore that a lot of the artwork in that is also just kind of pencil sketch, black and white art. I don't recall there being tons and tons of color artwork. I think it was along the same sort of style. All right, so now we're in Dark Waters. Okay. Yep. Whispers in the Dark. See, this is the other artwork style that we see a lot of in the One Ring, is like this style here, which I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I mean, Cubicle 7 never has like terrible art. Hey, Nefarious Cole's popping in. Nefarious usually catches the show after the fact. Good amount of color art in the core book. There you go. But if I remember correctly, a lot of the color art is from this artist here. And I don't know. Just my opinion means nothing. It's just an opinion. Everybody has their own style that they like. I'm not super keen on this art. A lot of it always looks kind of washed out to me. So, I mean, but like I said, that is basically just kind of my take on that. Hey, don't worry, NK. You don't have to worry about being late to the party. You usually watch the videos after the fact anyway, so you get to see the whole thing. Okay, so this looks like this is a fairly long adventure here, the Dark Waters. Shadows in the North. I think this might be the adventure that wraps it all up. Begins in Dale. The adventurers go to Netherwood, back to Dale, and eventually to the heart of Erebor. Okay, so. Well, gotta admit, not a whole lot of spoilers that we're seeing here based on the artwork. So NK says more of the splat books have the like pencil sketches, the black and white artwork. Is that Goblin? Let's see. Yep, right there. I'm gonna say it looks like a Tolkien goblin there, or at least along the lines of the Peter Jackson goblins. Ooh, hey, wow, looks like the players might run across a Nazgul. Yep, sure enough. I bet you that's supposed to be the Nazgul there. Okay, exile from Dale. Looks like somebody messes up. They get thrown out of Dale. City of Bells, using fireworks. So it looks like there might be kind of a grand battle here towards the end. The Concert of Kings, featuring Foghat and special guest Molly Hatchet. Yep. I'm dating myself there. Oh, I have to laugh. Foghat has become like this, just a gag, just a joke. If you're talking about like old rock bands that nobody would bother to go see, it's Foghat. Everybody's always like Foghat. Okay, so yeah, it looks like this is probably the wrap up here. We got the epilogue there. There we go. So, there we go. So we got the appendix here. Nazgul of the North. Looks like we got some new spells. Hey, look, more Nazgul. Excellent. Don't want just one. Yeah, another spell here. And then we've got an index overall. So, continue your adventures. I want to say I don't recall there being a lot of adventure supplements like this for the One Ring. I think there's one or two. Nazgul, no dragon. I think we saw hints of a dragon a little bit earlier in the book. Earlier in the adventures there. Yeah, flirting with disaster. There's Molly Hatchet reference for you right there. All right, so, of course, I will have a review of The Laughter of Dragons in the very near future, probably a couple of weeks. It usually takes a couple of weeks for me to do RPG reviews. So, that is it for today's show. As I mentioned before on Monday's show, yeah, this thing is heavy, I swear. I'm going to review Millennium Blades from Level 99 Games. I'm going to be reviewing the core game here. We're going to be playing that this weekend. So, I always like to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Come on, by now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, whoop, it's a wrap. There you go. Molly Hatchet, some Frank Frazetta. Yes, Frank Frazetta's art was fantastic. Okay, so before I wrap it all up, I gotta say, I like the classic art from, old school RPGs and things like that. But I do want to say that some of the old school art wasn't all that great. I mean, some of Larry Elmore's stuff is fantastic, and other stuff is kind of like, really? Then again, some of the new stuff looks really good. Some of the digital stuff is really, really nice. And some of the digital stuff is just garbage. Trash. So, anywho, all right. I will be back on Monday. So everybody have a great weekend. Have a good time. Stay safe out there. I'll look forward to seeing you on Monday. And of course, as always, thank you for watching. And those of you in chat, thank you for hanging out and, kicking it with me on a Friday night. Talk to you soon. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.